In a world where a young Corey Feldman talks like this, 25-year-old vampires also pass as teenagers. Jamie,
Okay.
let's go watch The Lost Boys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We are an 80s movie podcast where we watch an 80s movie and then we talk about it, and you can decide whether it's worth revisiting. My name is Doug McCambridge. I'm one half of this podcast. With me, as always, is Jamie Lorello. Jamie,
Hello.
Are you excited to see more Jamie Gertz? Are you done with Jamie Gertz? How do you feel about her?
You know what? I enjoyed. She's adorable. We have a shared name. She spells her name differently than I. Mm-hmm. But, you know, she's a Jamie. I'm a Jamie. I do enjoy kind of a Jamie Gertz. She's not my fave as far as her acting ability. Like, she's an adorable looking person. And like I said, I like our shared name. And I like movies that she's in, including this one.
Okay.
Not to give away my feelings too early on, right. But I don't find her to be a thrilling,
I thought there was more to Jamie Gertz, and now I'm discovering that there isn't. I mean, not that there's not. And Jamie Gertz, if you're listening, and I'm sure you are,
right?
This is not meant as an insult, but I don't know. Like, she was
pleasant.
She was a big time, quote unquote, actress in the 80s.
I think it was her look, because she looked kind of different than the Molly Ringwalds and the I don't know, Molly Ringwalds.
That's it. That's all.
Well, and the Demi, you know what I mean? She had her curly hair and she had the kind of spunkier look, and even you know, but I don't. She's pleasant, but she's not like
really dumping on Jamie Gertz before we even talk about the movie.
I know. And hey, listen, she's a fine half hippie vampire. She's fine enough. I couldn't see anyone else as her. Could you?
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
Anybody. You almost said Demi Moore. I could see Demi Moore in this movie. She'd be great in this movie.
Oh, she would be fabulous.
You have Joel Schumacher. He directed St. Elmo's Fire.
He could have just pulled her right in. Ali Sheedy already is half a vampire. Yeah.
Yes. Listen, over the past few episodes, you have recast these movies and done a great job.
Thank you.
But if I had to recast two parts, it would be Jamie Gertz and Jason Patric.
Oh,
and
you didn't like the Jason Patric.
He had Demi Moore and Rob Lowe from St. Elmo's Fire.
Fingertips, you're
that would have been great.
Totally different movie with Rob Lowe as Michael. A little saucier Michael.
Oh,
what do you think?
Definitely. And a more likable or charismatic Michael.
I'll go with charismatic. I mean, Jason Patrick.
You think he's pretty likable?
I mean,
there's not much there. He takes off those sunglasses. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I guess he's pretty much dead inside, but he was supposed to be. He's a vampire, half vampire. He's a lost boy. Let's just face it.
Did that baby vampire have any lines in this movie?
Oh,
I don't think he said anything.
And I think he spoke when he was the baby vampire.
Oh, did he?
I think he might have, but maybe it was more just like vampire.
Right, I thought it was a lot of like.
Yeah, I guess that's not speaking. I guess that's just vampiring, grunting.
Yeah.
Well, they're. Hey, listen, we are getting ahead of ourselves. We're talking. We're into the movie. Who are the Frog Brothers?
What
movie is it?
First of all, exactly. Well, first of all, I
think we've given enough away.
If we're telling people what the name of the movie is, that means that they did not read the little thing on the podcast.
Oh, I guess that's true. They're just blindly going in.
My intro where I say the name. But it is The Lost Boys from 1987 because December we are celebrating the works of the team up
Oh.
that was Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. And they were only in 3 movies together in the 80s.
Really? Oh, the others were 90s movies then.
Yeah, I don't even know what they did in the night. I know they did a lot. They did a ton of movies together, but they were
did
all
a ton
bad.
of coke together too, I'm sure.
Oh.
They did a ton of drugs together and
Yes. If we could cover that, that would be
Yeah.
great. If Corey Feldman, and again, just like Jamie Gertz, I'm sure he's listening, if you could
Yeah.
email us? No. Just mail us some VHS tapes of you guys doing a lot of coke together.
We'll
We'll cover that.
Yeah, I sure will. We'll comment about it. Why not? But Doug will probably do an imitation of it.
That's right.
Yeah. I love it. Wait, which of the Coreys, speaking of the Corey dynamic duo, do you prefer? I think we should come out and say this now. I think we've got another one to cover, so...
I'm not saying this just because he's dead, but
Oh, R.I.P. That's right.
now I'm more of a Corey Feldman fan.
Okay.
But at this time, I enjoyed Corey Haim, and I enjoyed him more in this movie. He seemed more genuine. Like, Corey
Early
Feldman...
on in his career, he's the more innocent, likable one. What was
Right.
that movie he was in where he plays the little nerdy kid? Oh, I can't think of it. Really
Lucas.
sweet. Yeah, Lucas. I mean, he was great in that.
Oh my God, we have to do that movie. Charlie Sheen
Yeah.
as the football player.
Yes.
The red-haired girl from Goonies.
Yes. Oh yeah, we need to put that in our roster for sure. But see, he was sweet and likable, and Corey Feldman was more of the greasier badass of the two, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, he totally hams it up over the top in this movie, but then he's also got that weird, and this is, like, why would I make fun of someone who has a speech impediment? But he has a weird lisp, or whatever, that...
Haim or Feldman?
Feldman.
Okay. Oh.
It kind of bothers me. Like, in Goonies, he's always kind of spitting, like, it's...
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think it's his dentation. I think it's his teeth and just the way he speaks. I don't think it's maybe it is a choice. Who knows?
I don't
But,
know. His acting
but his-
choice in this movie is
Husky. It's husky. I'll tell you that.
Yep. He talks like one of the guys who does like trailers for movies. That is clearly what he decided to do.
In a world.
Yeah, right. But it's every line. Like the first time he comes on screen, I thought it was a joke.
You're like, clearly he's imitating like John
Right.
Wayne or something. Yeah.
Near the end of the movie, I'm like, he's still talking.
He
like
sticks
this,
to it.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
he has to be a tough vampire slayer, you know? And wait, how old are they supposed to be? Because Corey Haim in this movie, I feel like he's supposed to be like 8.
All right, we will have
Because-
to talk about that because
Okay.
we do have 2 more Corey movies coming up.
2 more.
And the next one
Fast forward. Yeah.
is licensed to drive, so they're
Oh.
able to get permits at least. So the next movie, which is 1 year after this, they're like 15, maybe 16 years old.
Okay.
And in
okay.
here they're like playing 10,
Yeah, right? I feel like they're very young,
especially
like-
Corey Haim. Like
Yes.
he seems like a little kid.
well, he's taking tubbies and he can't be left alone at night and
My favorite part of the movie is his bath scene.
oh yes.
I loved it.
Mine too. He gets so into it, is singing, and see, that's the innocent fun. Like I could have had a whole movie just to that. Not really a whole movie, but it was an enjoyable part to this one for sure.
I could only assume that if Feldman sends us those tapes, they have to be in a bubble bath doing
I
coke
think they're
together
taking
at some
tubbies,
point.
taking tubbies left and right, and uppers and downers. And, I don't know, the brown ones and then the pink ones. I don't know what
Yep.
kind of. I
It's
don't
a
know.
regular
drug talk.
basketball
It's not
diary
drug talk.
situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I take uppers or downers? What's what? I don't know. We have to play a basketball game. I'll take the black ones. The worst
Totally makes
decision.
sense, right? Exactly.
The worst
Totally
decision.
makes sense. I'll take the one with the skull and the crossbones on it. That seems
Right.
like something that's going to uplift me, make me
The ones
get
in
to
the shape of a
championship.
casket. Those ones will be great. I'm sure those will give me the pep I need to score 20 points.
And yeah, I'll take it with that red juice over there. No, it's blood, David.
It's
Or
blood.
Michael.
The
Michael.
thinnest blood ever. That blood had to have been cut with wine, right?
Well, I would assume even and just for, you're right, it was pretty thin blood.
It was
when I think
very
about
thin.
it. Yeah.
Because even when she says it's blood and he laughs, I'd be laughing at that because that's
Yeah,
not
because I'm
what
like,
blood looks like.
clearly it's in a wine bottle and it's going down smooth.
And Kiefer Sutherland drinks his own blood, which is kind of gross.
Well, vampires don't think of it as gross. That's what they feed on.
Yeah,
They could
all
stay
right.
young forever, but you must feed
Yeah,
on blood.
Again, unless you're Jamie Gertz or a little boy in the,
Well-
who knows how long you'd have to go without eating.
Well, they were on the verge of the end. There.
Were
Oh,
they? That's
yeah.
never said.
Well,
It's never said. I thought they were so weak because the sun came up. You know?
oh yeah,
Like
they
it was
were in the
it was
sunlight.
nappy time. It was vampire sleepy time.
You need to go upside down now. Come on. See, I thought it was because they hadn't fed. They were stopping themselves from eating so they wouldn't. Because when they feed, that meant they became full vampires, right?
Right,
That was their like.
Which I
Yeah.
think is the one part of vampire lore that this movie makes up. Like, they do nods to other vampire tales, and they're like, oh, holy water, and there's garlic, and there's
yeah.
a reflection.
And
But
the
I've
steak, the
never,
wooden steak. Yeah.
ever heard of a vampire needing to feed before he's an actual vampire.
Oh yeah, the in between stage. You know what? I have to tell you, I don't study the vampires. You'd have to check with the Frog Brothers on this. So, but I can't disagree with you there. I cannot.
All right. Well, we should talk about this movie.
Yeah, we should. We've covered a lot of areas of this movie. We've kind of dusted around the perimeters. But all right, let's dig in. Let's talk it through. Right.
All right, let's go.
All right. Well, before we have the beautiful opening that we have where we meet the whole town, we get a little opening where we meet
The
all
whole
of our
town,
characters.
too. We do.
Oh yeah, we do, and it's great. It's such a fun. But before that happens, we get to quickly meet our bleach blonde vampire crew. Right, every one of them. I think every one of them has
Except
bleach
for one.
blonde hair.
There's
oh
one
yeah,
dark-haired vampire.
a Latino-looking one. Yes, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're clearly kind of the bad guys of this town. They're the kind of creepy, unwanted. They're being thrown out of a video store, right? When we first meet them, and they're being kind of accosted by a security guy who later meets.
Also, they're riding a carousel. I mean, it's
Oh
not-
yeah,
it's-
that's right. Creepy carousel walk.
That's what these vampires decide to do at night.
Well, they're not riding it; they're creepily walking around it, which is always badass. It's not
Oh, I
like they're
thought they
holding
were
on to a
it.
horsey.
No, I thought they were on. No, not sitting on the horse. But I thought they were at least standing on it.
This on the horsey.
That would have been so much better.
If Kiefer was like, "Thou shalt not fall," rising up and down on a unicorn,
I would have loved that.
staring down all the people like, "I'm gonna get your blood,
Mm-hmm.
thou little sister."
They can
thou
fly.
shalt
They can fly, but he just likes to ride around in circles.
Yeah,
Like that makes him feel good.
A carousel make even the vampire the happiest guy, right?
And who
It's
are
a
they
great place
fighting
to troll.
with? Like, are they fighting with a rival gang, or is it like infighting against other vampires? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I thought they were the only vampires in town, and maybe not everybody knows they're vampires until
Right.
they just think they're kind of the bad news
So,
bears of the
so
area.
as is listed
They're the
in the
punks.
credits, you think that they are fighting with one of the surf Nazis or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah.
What are those guys
surf
called?
Nazis, yes, surf
right?
Nazis,
Okay.
yes. Oh, because we're clearly we're in a California town, right? It's a Santa. It looks like Santa Cruz, California, but it's a made up town.
It's Santa Carla.
Carla?
No. I
Carla.
thought it was Santa Clara for the longest time, and then I went, nope, they're just making up the name.
Oh, all right.
It's a place that does not exist.
So we meet the vampire guys, and we see that they're against the surfer Nazis, and they're kind of wreaking havoc on this town. And then we also meet this family, the single mom, Diane Wiest, who I love, the pixie haircut, she was a great 80s mom to me.
She looks great. She's so innocent and
Yeah, and her
Such
little
like a-
eyes and her voice. Right?
she's such like a pushover of a mom.
Love it. Yeah. But she's so, and they stumble upon, so they're going, it's her and her two boys, which are Sam, Corey Haim, who we deem to be between 8 and 10.
Sure,
right?
yeah, he's 10 years old. Mm-hmm.
And Michael, who is her brooding teenager, right?
Who's in his mid-20s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's really a senior in high school, but he's 25.
Everybody's playing about 6 to 8 years younger than they actually are.
This is true. The soundtrack has got some. They play that Doors song, "People Are Strange," as we're rolling into this.
Yeah, but it's a cover.
It's not even the real Doors.
It's pretty bad, and they must have really wanted it too, because then when they're in their underground,
there's the picture
clubhouse. There's a big, huge, giant picture of Jim Morrison just hanging out, laying there, and Jason Patric looks a lot like Jim Morrison.
There are some similarities.
He could have played him in that. I don't know.
Well, what do you think about Val Kilmer instead? Val Kilmer, I think, played him in the movie The Doors. So, sorry, I'm going back to your recast. Do you think Val Kilmer would have made a good Michael?
No.
I like your Rob Lowe. I think Rob Lowe would have changed the whole kind of feel of the movie if he was Michael.
Yeah, I think Val Kilmer would have played it just like Jason Patric.
I agree. I think that's what they wanted. I think that was the look. And don't forget that whole, even the attitude and the Jason Patrick looked kind of heartthrobby at the time. You know what I mean?
Of course.
To me, I mean, I know a lot of women are gaga for Kiefer Sutherland, but he doesn't do it for me. He doesn't do it for me as a vampire. He doesn't do it for me 24.
Does he do it for you? Did you ever see the video where he's drunk and he jumps on the Christmas tree?
Maybe that's the one. Maybe that's what I should watch. And I'll be like,
great.
Now this Kiefer I can wrap my head around. I mean, he does do a great job. He plays a great David the Vampire, but you know.
David the Vampire. It sounds like a children's cartoon.
I think there actually is a book called
David the Vampire. My name's David. I'm in charge of a vampire gang. This is Michael. This is Marco.
Do the other vampires even have names?
No. Well, they start yelling their names at one point, and there's Paul and Marco, and I don't think the dark-haired guy, Death by Stereo,
San Diego,
a name.
Oh, Santiago. I don't know any of them had names except for David, and I don't know that any of them have many lines except for David, right? Like, I think they just, maybe they all chant Michael at one point. I think they
all their lines are just Michael. Poor Alex Winter got his script and he was like, really? I'm just saying Michael?
This is all I got? So besides the boys and the mom, there's the dog, Nanook. Mm-hmm. And they're all going from Arizona. Mom's freshly divorced. Lucy? What's her name?
Lucy.
She's freshly divorced, bringing the boys to, we find out, her father's house, who lives in this creepy vampire. Well, it's not creepy when we first. It's a very lively town, actually.
His place is creepy, though. They refer to his place as very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-y, and they're right.
There's
just bones everywhere.
Oh, because he's a taxidermist or something, right?
These weird, like, wind chimes made of animal bones and feathers.
It's very what you would picture, like a Central California hippie, like. But you expect it to be a commune of, like you said, sort of budding serial killers, perhaps.
Right.
Like, because it looks like it's a good chunk of land. It's definitely an old kind of ranchy kind of house. And what's the big structure, too, when they pull up in the garden? There's like a weird...
I don't know. Like a sculpture?
No, I think it's like part of the gazebo. I don't know.
There was a gazebo?
No.
Did I miss that?
I might be using that word incorrectly, but it doesn't matter.
All right. Later on, I'll send you a picture of a gazebo.
I'll give you the yay or the nay. Yeah. Is this what you meant by gazebo? It's all titular. It doesn't matter.
It's all Lost Boys.
Yeah, exactly. So when I like it when she gets to her house. Now, this is her father's house that she comes to. He's dead, or he's playing dead. on the ground.
Yeah, he's a vampire. No, yeah, he's playing dead.
He's laying on the floor, and the boys are like, "Grandpa's dead. What are we doing?" And she's like, it's another one of his jokes, right? Isn't she?
Yeah,
like,
he seems like he was
unstartled
an
by it?
aggravating father. But you're right. He does not have a name in this movie. He is simply billed as
they're
Grandpa.
just Grandpa. Yeah.
He really is there. Other than the very end of the movie, he's kind of just there for comic relief. Like anytime he's in a scene, it's goofy. He's saying something silly or doing something silly. Like he does like a grumpy old man thing later when he goes and like
when he goes on the
nails.
date.
Yeah, he nails some widow like next door.
Yeah,
or something.
he cleans his ears with the Windex before he leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that he gives them a little tour of the place, and there's like he's just a hippie dude. Like there's weed growing in the backyard, right? He makes. He's got the funny TV Guide comment. Sorry, I was staring at my notes.
No,
because
that's
TV
fine.
Guide, I haven't thought about a TV Guide for a minute, and yeah, he says he doesn't have a TV, but he reads the TV Guide.
I used to love TV Guide. I
right?
loved it. Oh my god!
I know it was like
And,
such a fun thing to like. And all the days of the week, and well, you especially with your obsession for TV shows and your love of just.
Well, plus we also had HBO, and they would list all the movies in the back of TV Guide, so they would give you how many stars the movie got and a little synopsis. But
yeah, that's right.
And this is for any any 13-year-old boy that travels back in time. If you look, it'll give you like if there's nudity in the movie. There'll be like a little N, but you don't look for that. What you look for is the one that says SS, which is sexual situations. Because nudity could just mean like there's
like a
somebody's
male butt. Yeah,
like a butt for a second. No, you look for sexual situations. Those are the movies you want to watch.
I can just see DP with his highlighter. All right, this is going to be Saturday nights. SS. All right. That's awesome. I read the TV Guide for the articles. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, what's Mr. T up to this week?
Oh, the Golden Girls are back together again.
Oh, I so wish Mr. T just had a weekly article.
Was Mr. Oh, yes. Wouldn't that be great? Like a Dear Mr. T? Like I pity the fool. I don't know what kind of advice he'd give, but
it would just be that.
I don't know what, because there was a while where Mr. T's like blew up. Like he had a doll, he had the cereal. Remember the Mr. T cereal?
Do you remember the cartoon?
Oh yes,
Mr. T and the gymnasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
He might have had his own like advice column in some kind of like the Tampa Bay News or something like that. I don't know.
You think it just reached out across the country and he was just like, the only people, I can't even do a Mr. T. But
no, that's good. That's good. Come on, you gotta try. You can't just start and not finish.
No, that's it. No, I gotta save up for some Corey Feldman.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay. That's right. Mr. T's not even in this movie. I don't even know why we're talking about it.
Oh my God, we gotta do a Mr. T movie. DC Cab? Right? When was that?
Oh, that had to be in the 80s. Probably.
What else was he in? Was he in anything other than the A-Team?
He was in the Rocky movie, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, Rocky 3. Yeah.
Very serious suddenly. You got, oh, yes, of course. Everybody knows that. And he wasn't in a Pee Wee Herman. I think Pee Wee just ate some Mr. T cereal. So I guess in some ways he was in Pee Wee Herman.
He had a cameo as a box of cereal.
Oh, Mecca like a high, Mecca hiney.
That was one of the weirder parts of that movie. In a movie that is
weird enough,
crazy.
Yeah.
When he just picks up a Mr. T cereal box.
And he does a pretty good Mr.
And he
T
goes,
impression.
I pity the fool who eats my cereal. And he dumps it on like the little, he makes like a little face out of the bacon and eggs and stuff. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Put that one on the list, too. We got to do Pee-wee's Big
Yeah,
Adventure
that was,
at
yes, I agree.
All right. We have not talked about this movie.
No, all right. We're back on track. Mr. T is not in the town of Santa Clara. Okay. So, but what is, so part of the opening, besides meeting all these people, is this great kind of montage of this. Well, it's not a carnival; it's the boardwalk,
right.
But it's very lively.
Sorry, not to get us back off track, but I also think it's important for us to say that the grandpa is Blossom's grandfather.
Oh, yes.
And it's the second time we've seen him because remember he turned into a big robot penis in Tron?
Yes, that's right. There's not much I remember about Tron, but
That was it.
yes.
All right,
indeed.
okay. All right, go ahead.
All right. So I know I keep kind of harping on the fact that this is a wild little town, but it's summertime, right? I assume that it's the summer because the boardwalk is jumping.
Well, and
like
nobody
every
goes
night
to
of the week.
school either.
Yeah, no one's in school. She even makes a mention like when school starts. So there's a band called Live.
There's a band. Now, I think at this point in the podcast, I think we should cut away.
Okay.
Because we did have should we call Abby like our Good Times Great Movies reporter or something? Like,
I like that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But we did. We had a conversation
She
with
was very in depth. Yeah.
It was a very in-depth analysis of this band, of this saxophone player. So I think it's best to just listen to that rather than us try and figure this out.
They show the band, and the marquee behind the band just says Live.
Yeah, it just says Live. Like that's the name
So we don't know that there are people on stage.
Yeah.
Right, that's not holograms.
Just announcing Live. And then the band is all right. Wait, so I'm really trying to rack my brain and think of the last time that I associated sexy saxophone with like punk rock, hard edge,
but it's
anything.
the way he plays that sexy saxophone. It's the unbridled passion to which he takes.
A lot of passion.
Oh.
A lot of passion.
It was really, the saxophone was really just another part of his outfit. I don't think it was important to the music at all. I think he just needed something. And it was like, well, I could have a tambourine, but that's not cool enough. I need something shiny as my body.
But again, like...
You don't give him a guitar?
Like, there are certain storylines or movies that like, to me, would fit with. Like, I don't understand when they were in the production...
Can you tell me these stories?
No, when they were in the production meeting, like, I just can't picture them around the table. And they're like, all right, so... You know, we're really setting the stage for the vampires and all these things happening. You know, we really need to have some good music. And someone's like, I know, let's get Tim Capello.
Was that his name, Tim Capello?
That's his name. That's his name.
Abby, see, this is you overthinking this part.
I know.
Because that production meeting was literally somebody going, my cousin has this amazing band. I can get him down. We don't even have to pay him to be in there.
No, wait.
If you want to, he will be another vampire.
No, he actually performed with Tina Turner. And the song that he covered, the I Still Believe, the band that originally played that, they had that song in a 1985 movie with Paul Rodriguez called The Whoopee Brothers. So
wait a second. So the original song was in a movie 2 years before this dude covered it?
Yes. I'm telling you, this is like the biggest mystery of the entire movie to me because it just doesn't seem to fit with anything. It's like on Sesame Street, like one of these things doesn't quite belong. Yeah. Like that's how I feel about this scene. And that's why I actually had to find out more.
The details.
Yeah. So
I think you should get a crew together and do a documentary about this guy and his band.
I
want to know.
I think you're onto something.
Because this is insanity. And if you
did he have a band? It wasn't just him.
Oh, he had a band. There was other people playing with him. He's a multi
Jamie, they were live.
They were live. The marquee told us so.
This is true.
Because you could have told me this dude totally lip synced. He was just some weirdo that showed up on set and oiled himself up. I'd be like, that makes sense.
No, when he performs, he usually only wears a G-string. He's
known
Is
he a stripper?
Yeah, he's known for his like highly sexual antics. He used to be a heroin addict, but kicked it cold turkey.
Well, he looks great for a heroin addict. Went
into bodybuilding. And he is actually, he could be heard on Tina Turner's We Don't Need Another Hero. He,
Abby,
yeah.
are you his publicist? Did you like? Is this a side gig for you?
Yeah, I did my research. This kept me up at night. I don't know why. It is out of control. He was also in the movie Tapped with Gregory Hines.
Dancing? Did he dance or did he sing?
I don't know what he did. I didn't get to see it yet, but he was in it.
I assume he pretty much did the same thing he did in this movie.
I mean,
Sweaty gyration.
Yeah, but they didn't just oil. So anyway, last thing I'm going to say, they didn't just oil him up or give him that look for the movie. Like that was like
he showed up with that.
Yeah, that's like he was ready to go.
They're like, oh, maybe we should just towel you off. He's like, nope, this is what I'm doing. This is a decision that I have made. Ready? Just start rolling the cameras. Yeah. Just go. I love it, and I would like to think that Joel Schumacher was not there for this. That this was just second unit or something.
Yeah,
and the director was like, I don't know, we need somebody.
Just let him play. Yeah.
And you can't even dance the song. Like Jamie Gertz. Like this is the magical moment when Michael or Jason and Jamie Gertz, their eyes meet.
Right.
And she's like trying to dance. She's like trying to feel the music. She can't.
You can't.
Who can dance to sexy saxophone?
No.
You can't.
But there was a crowd gathered, P.S.
There was a big crowd.
Live.
Big crowd.
They had balloons. Why wouldn't there be a crowd?
I like to think that that's just a cover for all the nitrous being passed around.
Perhaps.
At this concert.
Perhaps.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. But I do enjoy, like you said, he usually wears a G-string. Does he normally wear chains like that?
Yes,
it's not.
It is all
not
part
like,
of his look.
It's not jewelry. It's like a swing set chain wrapped around his neck.
And sometimes a dog leash. He actually performed with Carly Simon, and she pulled him around by his dog leash on stage.
What a kinky guy!
Yeah.
Wow.
I like this guy. Was he in any of the sequels?
I like this guy.
I don't know if he was.
I can get a good handle on this guy.
I know that this is hard to believe, but he is Sicilian. And
wow.
He grew up in White Plains, New York.
Wow.
Just saying.
No wonder he's got that sass. Look at her. I'm done. Right. I'm done for the podcast. She's like, that's as far as I want to get.
This is borderline stalker.
That's all right. If you could book him on our podcast,
I'll try. I'll reach out to him, but I don't know.
You know what?
Is he
just
Twitter?
Record an interview. Just record an interview. I'll put it up on our podcast.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk to him. I'm not sure that I want to talk to him, but you do. So you try and find him.
I have so many questions for you, Tim.
Like, is it true that you're Sicilian? One other thing Abby mentioned was that Jamie Gertz did sing "Happy Birthday" to her at a restaurant.
Yes, that's right. And then wished her a happy birthday, right?
And then wished her a happy birthday on her way out of the restaurant, too. So, so Abby brought us some great knowledge and information about the sax player. And also, I watched
more than some might need to know, but more. I think sometimes the more you know, the better it is. And definitely, the sweatier, the better.
I would have been happy to pretend that this guy was just an actor, but just to know that he was real, like that this was real.
Very committed to his character.
Yeah.
Which was himself, I guess.
I mean, it would be like if you said to me, listen, I did a lot of research, and the dark-haired vampire really was a vampire. I'd be like, oh, what? Knowing that guy really did play saxophone in a band is as surprising as knowing that one of those vampires were real.
But wait, I don't know. Let's be honest, too. What kind of... This tells you how saucy this town is. Mm-hmm. That the concert they all decide to go to is led by a band with a saxophone player, right? This is where the town gathers.
Well, I'd like to think that that's not a standing gig. That this was kind of a one-time thing, and that whoever booked this kind of said, all right, he's never coming back again.
Right.
Like, that was,
right.
I messed up, sorry, I booked him,
right.
I'll make up for it next week. That's what I'd like to think. Because, again, it did just say live behind them. It didn't have the band's name or anything.
Any band could be live, which I like it. It was like live. It's like having a sign under someone that says person. Thank you. We know you're live.
Like,
you're
this
here.
is literally happening right now.
Exactly. Real, yeah. But at this Saucy Sax concert is where Jamie Gertz, star. She's our hippie. We find out later.
Oh my God, I
she's
thought you were trying to tell me she was the star of the movie.
Oh, no. That's her name, right? Isn't that her name? Her hippie
that's
name
her
is Star.
Yes.
We find out later that she's actually herself a half vampire, but at this time she's just sort of the girl interest, and she's braless throughout much of the movie, which makes her, I guess, a decent girl interest.
You mentioned that before. You really took note of the fact that she was wearing no undergarments? Is that how do you notice that?
Because
is it just because she's wearing like corsets and stuff?
Yes, I was going to say, I don't know, maybe there is a bra within that outfit, but the outfit itself seemed like underwear to me. So maybe I don't know. It's a sexy hippie outfit, I guess.
I like to think it's just you're that close to the water. Why wear more clothes than you need if you decide to get in?
I mean, I guess yes, sure, yes.
All right,
Okay,
mystery solved.
So yeah, these two make eye contact, and there's some budding romance happening while Star tries to awkwardly dance to this band. In the meantime, this is when Lucy, the mom, is also kind of getting to know the town and walking around the boardwalk. And is this when she also
she steals a child?
Yeah, this is so. She helps a quote unquote missing boy who was just standing outside when his mom comes like 2 minutes later. Is like, "You're right there. Where'd you go?"
I mean, the whole reason for this scene is so that she can meet Max.
Right.
And there's a help wanted sign on the window. She needs a job. Like, isn't that reason enough for her to walk in here?
Right,
Do
right.
we need this missing child?
Do we need the boy to kind of... But maybe that was also to let you know, because there is... Doesn't she earlier, while she's walking around, we see pictures of, like, missing kids, and there was the picture, the wife was putting up the picture of the missing security guard that we saw in the beginning. So maybe it's just to enhance the fact that this...
She cares. That she...
Okay.
She has a heart. I don't know. Her true calling probably isn't to work at a video store.
Well, I don't think it was. Her true calling was to come in and meet Mr. Max.
Mr. Right. Max, the guy who was the grandfather in the Gilmore Girls, and I know him as the voice of Dodge trucks in the 90s. He did a lot of commercials.
Did he? Oh, yeah, I guess he did.
That's how I knew him, and spoiler alert, when I saw those Dodge truck commercials, I was like, oh, that's the head vampire from Lost Boys trying to sell me a truck.
Does he want my truck or does he want my blood? I did not know that about the Ram truck thing, but yes, I do know that he's a fatherly type.
And he died just a couple of years ago.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Whatever your name is.
Yeah, R.I.P. Who's
Herman? Herman something. Edward Herman.
Oh, two first names.
He spells Herman with a lot of R's and a lot of N's.
There are people that do that, and there's a silent J in the beginning.
Right.
For some reason, I think I wrote Terry, the boy's name that is missing. For some reason, I guess we find that out in the movie.
Wow, you really were like, this must be important. I
think I thought we were going somewhere with the missing kid that gets the lollipop, but I guess it doesn't go anywhere. Well, no, I guess I know that it doesn't. So besides,
are you watching this as we're talking about it? Like, I don't know. This might go somewhere. It probably doesn't, but we'll wait and see.
As with most weird towns, not only is there a video store, but there's also, well, not just any weird town, any small town, video store and a comic book store.
Wow. Way to alienate our nerd listeners that are like, what? Weird towns have comic book stores. Way to go.
Well, I didn't mean weird wasn't the right name.
If there's something you want to know about podcast listeners, they probably also like comic books. Just to let you know.
Well, this is the comic book store, and I guess it's owned by the Frog family, right? Because
I guess. I guess those cadavers.
There's the two
propped up in the
sleeping
back of the
hippies. Yeah, there's these two like adults that sleep on each other. They kind of look like Cheech and Chong, but like a, right,
Right.
and they're just asleep on each other, literally laying shoulder to shoulder. While I think their names are Edgar and Allan, the Poe,
Right.
Or the Poe brothers, the Edgar and Allan Poe brothers, the Frog brothers. And I guess it's Edgar, or is it Allan that's Corey Feldman? I don't know, because I don't know that they call each other.
I think I wrote down that it is Edgar. That he is Edgar.
That makes sense. He looks more like an Edgar. Well, this is where our
really
Corey's...
because no person under the age of 80 that lives outside of, I guess, Romania looks like an Edgar.
Well, maybe if you have all this knowledge of vampires, does that make you feel a little more Edgar? Maybe. And you wear a trench coat all the time.
That kid, wait, did that kid wear a trench coat?
Didn't he? I feel like he did.
He was the one in fatigues, and he had.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He had dog tags on and like a beret at one point.
He kind of went for like he was an ex like was in Nam or something. Like he would think that
he was either he was in Nam or maybe he was in Nam and then trying to join the Black Panthers. It was kind of a weird mashup of those.
But at the same time, he's only 10 years old. So,
exactly. Well, we don't know if they're twins. They look
that's
like
right.
they're the same age, but they just refer to each other as being brothers, not twins.
Not twins.
So maybe they're a year apart.
Oh, but what do they call those? I feel like they have a name for kids.
They're called siblings.
No. No.
If they're born a year apart?
Like when
there's
kids
a name for that?
I think they're called Irish twins. Like if they're close enough in age.
Now
I just heard
you're
somebody
alienating
mention
our
that.
Irish listeners.
Not to mention our vampire listeners.
That's right.
Anyway, yes, they're close in age. They're brothers, and they they work at this comic book store, and Corey Haim, Sam, goes into the comic book store looking for a comic, not scary ones. He doesn't read scary comics. He's very clear about that.
He says it 87 times in this movie. I don't like horror comics. Mom, I don't like horror comics. Mom, I'm really scared. I read a horror comic.
Well, again, he's taking tubbies. He's very, very afraid. He's
six,
got some
going
growing
on
up to
16.
do. Exactly. Oh, but anyway, they give him a heads up about this town being a vampire town.
Mm-hmm.
They try to give him a comic book, which he kind of refuses, but they kind of tell him it's the guidebook, right? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
It'll save your life. It might just save your life. I don't like horror comics. It's gonna save your life. We fight for truth, justice, and the American way.
You're right. I guess I've thought about it. You just know that that's Corey Feldman's voice, but I think he always has this like weird.
My name's Edgar Frog. That's not a real name.
That's really good. See, I don't know. Are they really even? Are they even real? No, they are real. We know that they're real.
That just sounds like my name is Edgar.
Yeah. Like even the Frog brothers. Like, are you really? Is that really your name? Are you sure?
Well,
maybe they're the Froggerios or something, like the Fluggerios, and they shorten it to like immigrants. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a shame if that's your original name and you have to shorten it to Frog. Just change it all together.
Exactly.
Miller.
Just go by Smith, Miller, whatever. Just keep it like we've talked a bit about the Frog Brothers.
Wow. Okay.
Now that we've got our Corey meeting, and it is a nice seeing them on screen together.
It's magical.
It is. Isn't it nice? We're back with seeing Michael decides to basically stalk Jamie Gertz, right? Is this when he kind of follows her around?
Yeah, he kind of chases her, but she sort of seems into it.
Yeah, it's like a little
she keeps
flirty
looking
game
back,
they're
like,
playing.
oh, yeah. But it appears that she is dating Kiefer Sutherland, or she's Kiefer's girl.
Right. She is not to be. She's not on the market.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is when she gets on the back of his bike, and he and his gang, whatever, they tear off.
Yes.
They all have motorcycles on the boardwalk, which I don't think you're allowed to do that, right?
In this town, I guess. Why not?
Yeah, people are pretty scuzzy.
They're crazy, yeah. They're pretty scuzzy. We know that there's something kind of bad happening to the people in the town, but we don't really know what it is. Right. It's something that comes from the sky.
There's kills. Earlier, a security guard is killed in a POV shot. And now this is where one of the surf Nazis and his girlfriend are in a car. Right. And the roof of the car gets ripped off and they get sucked up into the sky. Right?
I like just screaming. I like that it's kind of happens random. So a surf Nazi, which I didn't realize. I mean, now I guess knowing that there were surf Nazis in there. The surf Nazi's in the car with the girl who he wants to be like necking or whatever, and she's like reading a comic book.
She has no interest.
No interest.
Yes.
Well, they're on like make out point somewhere, right?
And they're the ones that just stole the comics.
Ah.
A group stole comics from the Frog Brothers.
That's right. Okay. And now they're reading their comics and now, yeah. So they get floated up. Something terrible has happened to them. We're not sure what, but it's happened in the sky. So now we're back.
Why doesn't we later find out that that Michael is supposed to be Jamie Gertz's first kill, but like it's never said that your first kill has to mean something. Like, why couldn't she have just eaten one of these surf Nazis or the girlfriend or something? Like, does your first kill have to be someone that you have some sort of attraction to or something? I'm wondering how long they've all been vampires and how long she has gone forever without eating. Right.
Vampires live forever, so they could have been vampires who knows how long.
Right.
You know?
I mean, but they do dress very modern.
Well, you have to when you're a vampire. You got to keep up with the times.
I guess. They're at the house for 5 seconds, and then they're back on that boardwalk again. But
we're at the house for a good reason. We're at the house because Grandpa shows Corey his classic car collection, which later we're going to use those classic cars.
Well, I think it's just one car. Is it entire collection? I thought it was just one car. Is it?
I have to say it again. When the Grandpa says, sorry, it's still one of my favorite lines. I don't know why, but it is. He tells him he's got to let the car warm up like a baby pussycat. I think it's the best. You got to let it warm up.
Do you think that he got out of the car then? And Joel Schumacher was like, no, we got to do it again. It's a pussycat. And he's like, nope, I said what I said. Like, that's what I know it as. And then he just walked away. And
it's like Puss in Boots. Yeah, I know.
You're sure that he said that? You're sure this wasn't just you? Okay.
No, it's got to warm up like a baby pussycat because it's the Grandpa. He's an odd guy. He doesn't ever go into town. That's what he tells.
That's as close as he gets to town. It's the garage.
But then, yes, the rest of us, including Michael and including Sam, go back into town, right? And Sam is back in the comic book store again and is given, I think this time is when they force the survival manual on him. I think the first time maybe he doesn't take the comic book.
He's given a lot of
just peer pressure.
Not right. Peer pressure, or they really try and sell him on the idea that there are monsters in this town. And you need to read this stuff. You have to pay attention. This is a dangerous place. They make fun of how he's dressed.
Oh, yeah, because he does wear very colorful blouses, I guess you could say.
But everybody's dressed like a freaking lunatic. Like, he does not stand out as looking any more bizarre than the kid standing next to him in fatigues.
I don't disagree. You're right. I don't think they have had a kill.
No, because when they first kill Marco, they are
they do
flipping the hell
out. But that's the first one that they kill. It's asleep, right? And that's that like pours gasoline all over them, and it's a big spilly mess.
Yeah, it's slime from the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it
flies
just splashes everywhere.
And it's all sparkly. I have a problem because a lot of people, and I know, like, I talk to a lot of people who love horror movies and stuff, and a lot of people are like, ugh, fuck Twilight, like, you got all those pussy vampires that sparkle and shit. And in this movie,
this is what they sound like.
That's exactly what they
sound
all
have head colds. Yeah, I like it. Okay, good.
And in this movie, the first vampire who dies spews out sparkly blood.
Yeah, that's right. There's splitter like shit. Yeah.
And these vampires are pretty much just sexy vampires. Like that's
Yeah.
They're not
sexy.
I mean, they're evil, but
they're deadly. Even
they're deadly. But I don't know. They're still just like these hot vampires.
they still bleed glitter. That's all.
And I'm not trying to defend Twilight. I've never seen a Twilight movie or read a Twilight book.
No.
But I just think it's unfair to say that this movie is super badass where Twilight wasn't.
Gotcha. Make your fit.
I'm just saying. That's all.
All right, put it out there.
I'm putting it out there.
I don't know the Twilight series.
Neither do I.
At all. Isn't there a werewolf in there?
I think there is.
And isn't there a baby werewolf?
A baby werewolf?
I feel like she gives birth to a werewolf.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I hear people talking. I listen.
I thought you meant right now. But
no,
anyway,
just,
maybe I should watch Twilight. I might really love it now.
Yeah, you. You might find yourself a Twilight fan. Who knew? See? Don't sell yourself so short. Oh.
Oh my God, we're almost an hour in. We're barely into this movie.
We're getting there. You know, we're flying through it in a sense. Oh yeah, we're not. Oh, that's okay. We're getting.
Sorry, yeah, he's not even a vampire yet. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. No, but we are back at the boardwalk, which is a good start.
We're always there.
Okay. I have written again, star, curly hair, no bra. I have it again in my notes, just so you know. I've written it down several times.
I've written it down. Exhibit A. Yeah, I wrote it down. Well, this is when they finally actually talk, because before he just chased
they've only
her
been
through this
looking
little
at
carnival.
each other.
Right.
Yeah. So they finally this is when he's getting his ear pierced, right? Is this when he gets his ear pierced?
Yeah, he gets a leather jacket or something at this point.
He's turning badass.
He gets his ear pierced. I mean, it takes him no time at all to sort of just fall in and just blend in.
Yeah, he knows he's got to. He was
new
ready
place.
for this change. Yeah. Yeah. So he's embracing it. And she's kind of embracing flirting with him. Now, I assume this was, now she's been told maybe he's going to be your next kill.
Right. No, I could see that. Just the way she's
that's why
interacting
she's trying to lay
with
the
him
moves
finally.
on. Right. She's talking to him in a huskier voice, right? Didn't she tell him, like, I could have pierced your ear?
I don't know. Her delivery is really terrible.
Yeah,
it's
always
all
awkward.
clunky.
But even in the last one we watched, she's got weird. What was the last?
Less than zero.
Yes, Less Than Zero.
Yeah.
She was less than impressive in it. She kind of lures him then over to David and the biker dudes again, or the gang, right? And they're going to go onto the bikes and kind of go riding through the bluffs. And do they invite him, or does he just start kind of riding with them?
No, they invite him because Kiefer almost challenges him.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And Michael says something like, well, I can't beat you. And he says, you don't have to beat us. You just have to keep up.
Keep up.
And they ride their bikes. They ride their bikes on a beach. Then they're in the woods. Then they're under docks. Then they're at a cliff. It is crazy. And the biking montage goes on forever.
For a little while. And they, when they get to the cliff, though, that's when Michael gets really mad, right? Because they do. They take him to a cliff and kind of ride.
They try and make him drive off the edge of the cliff. Right.
But he's smarter, and thank goodness he's got good brakes on that bike, right?
Yeah, well, he kind of just tips over and falls off.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
I mean, I'm sure he hit the brakes, too. But
it doesn't fall off the cliff.
Was the plan for him to drive off a cliff and then for her to go feast on his dead body?
Oh, I don't know. And maybe then, like, by him, like, keeping up and turning around, stopping, they were like, oh, he's got vampire potential.
Yeah, because later, she says he's supposed to be her first kill, but she couldn't do it. I'm like, when did she make that decision? Because they're leading him to the cliff, and then instantly they're like, dude, drink this blood, it's awesome. I'm like, wait, there was no time for them to sort of make that decision.
Unless they just were like, you know what, we only got one brown-haired vampire in the group.
You got to
gotta
even it out.
Grab another. Yeah, we got to keep it, or we're all going to have to start bleaching, and then no one will be able to, we won't even be able to tell each other apart.
I want to know who made the decision to turn that little tiny boy into a vampire. Like, that is weird.
What was his name, too? Because she calls it Laddie. Laddie. Yeah. Don't hurt Laddie. Yeah. Such a weird name for a kid.
A weird name. You hear that, Irish listeners?
We're offending all listeners today. Sorry. So you refer to him drinking the blood and everything is because so after they drive off the cliff and have this or don't and do this ride together, they go down to the vamp cave. I guess it's the cave that these guys all live in.
I do like to just think of it as like a clubhouse for vampires. Like,
it is sort of like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did expect it to be like a "No Girls Allowed" sign in the cave somewhere.
He does say, is it David that explains that it was once an old hotel?
It is David because nobody else has dialogue in this movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't know if it was one of the Frog Brothers with their vast knowledge of vampire ways.
They know about vampires. They don't know the history of the town.
Yeah, they don't know that. That's right. Well, so I guess this it doesn't look like it, but at one point this was a fancy hotel of some kind that after an earthquake went underground, and now the vampires live there in their clubhouse.
Yeah, this is all tacked on nonsense because you don't need it. Like, it could just be they found a cave. Like, it doesn't. Right.
There's it's not like there's any remnants of a fancy hotel.
Yeah, there's no staircase. Right? Like, even if you saw like elevator doors or something, that would be kind of cool. But you don't see anything.
No, you don't. No. But you do see, so David brings out a joint that he calls the appetizer, right? He sends somebody off to go get food, and I'm assuming this joint was laced because it kind of trips Michael out quite a bit, right? Food comes.
I thought, first of all, I don't know what you're putting in a joint to make a dude think that he's eating maggots and worms. Like, I thought that
maggots, Michael.
I thought those were vampire powers. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he could make him see the rice as maggots. And he could make him see the noodles as worms. And they were just fucking around with him. Like,
they were just kind of like, so that then when he drank the blood, he drank what he thought was wine, but it was blood.
Right.
Yeah. He goes feasting with these. Oh, before, in the middle of all of Michael's cave stuff. Sam is getting tucked into bed.
Oh, God.
By his mommy. And he likes his closet door closed because he's afraid of the closet monster.
The closet monster, yeah. And the mom jokes that's why she divorced his father because he didn't believe in the closet monster. And I thought, that's not cool, Diane. Like, that is not. You don't like. This kid probably still thinks it's his fault that they got divorced.
Yeah, right. Because it's all so fresh.
Right. Just
like it's you and your dumb closet monster fears that drove me and Daddy to.
Right.
Yeah.
Closet monster. Like, it just seems like a weird thing to say to a kid, and they haven't been divorced that long, right? Like,
I don't know. They don't really say.
Yeah, I don't know. At one point, the grandfather says something like, "You should have taken him to court" or something.
Yeah, but again, she's so easy, like pushovery. She's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I like tea."
I like tea. That is something she would say. All right.
This is also fun. Sorry, it's in my notes.
Yeah.
Because we're back at Grandpa's house. Sam's getting tucked into bed. And I have written in my notes, Granddad stuffs a beaver, ? Is this when the granddad stuffs a beaver and puts it next to his bed or something? Because he stuffs all kinds of weird things.
Right, yeah.
And because he's the taxidermist and
he does, when he's going out to see the widow, he does bring the stuffed beaver with him. Get it, everyone? Wink, wink.
Oh, it's a puss cat. It's a puss cat. All right, so anyway, back to the cave where David is being fed maggots that is really rice and worms that are really, I was going to say linguine, but it's Chinese food, so it's lo mein. And then They offer him the wine, and Jamie Gertz, or Star, and I think the little boy Laddie are like, don't do it. No, Laddie
Star
might not be there.
Literally tells him, that's blood. And then he drinks it, and later in the movie, he's like, I can't believe I drank blood.
He confronts her about it. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't you do anything, Star? And she's like, I fucking did. No.
Right. She doesn't even say anything. She doesn't even say, I tried to warn you. But I'm thinking in my head, she stood right behind you and said, don't drink that.
Yeah,
that's
she
blood.
clearly, we all saw her say it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love it. This is as he's drinking the blood, the wine, they're this is when all the crew gets their lines in. They start chanting his name because this is like the peer pressure moment.
Totally
right?
peer pressure. Yeah.
And then there's this montage kind of haze of him drinking the wine and
Yeah,
kind of falling
it's all
into
just
this.
images dissolved in like these
Yeah.
long shots or overhead shots of him drinking the wine dissolved into like close-ups of him drinking and Star looking concerned and Kiefer Sutherland
Yes.
like laughing maniacally.
Like giddy with joy. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and then now that they're all messed up, and now that Michael's officially a vampire because he's drunk in this blood, they decide to go for a ride again, right? And
Right, they go to a
this
bridge.
right.
Now, I think it is important to know, though, that nobody knows that these people are vampires. Nobody knows that he's a vampire. Like, if you're watching this movie, and let's say you've never seen a preview for this movie in your life,
Right.
you're supposed to not know what's happening, right? Like,
I
at the
think-
time, I'm sure people went to see this movie knowing it
Oh,
was
I see
about
what you mean.
vampires.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we haven't seen anyone turn into a vampire. We haven't seen a vampire in
Well,
this
I
movie
think
yet.
we know too, especially with the blood drinking, like, and there were some weird happenings, like, and Kiefer Sutherland at baseline looks like a vampire.
Right.
Later on, they do all kind of vamp out,
Right.
and they have the vampire makeup.
But I'm just saying, like,
we don't know what they're.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. It takes you until you are
Yeah.
an hour into a movie that's an hour and a half long before anybody turns into a vampire, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the reasons why it's a watchable movie. Again, not to give anything away about my recommendations or how I feel about the film, but
Jamie's rave review. It's watchable. I mean,
I guess that was sort of
I did like how excited you were. You're like, it is a watchable movie. What more can I say?
That's my 2 thumbs up. Watchable.
It's watchable. It was a thing that was made. All right. So these vampires, it's again another peer pressure. Like it's just peer pressure one after another because they jump down off of this bridge and they kind of hang on to rebar as the train goes
over. Right.
So they pressure him
and it shakes them.
They pressure him into drinking blood. Then, well, first riding his motorcycle with them.
Right,
then
almost
drinking
off
blood,
a cliff. Right.
Then hanging off this bridge. Then they all drop down one by one into the mist below.
And he doesn't know. And again, they're chanting his name. Come on, Michael, let go. Right? Just like a bunch of peer pressure-y teenagers would.
Yeah.
And he's freaking out. He does not know that he's going to be able to. He doesn't know what just happened.
No.
Right?
No.
So, he does not let go. He holds on for dear life because he's like, right. He finally falls.
He falls. But this is the one point where he does seem to not want to follow these guys.
Yes.
Because you're just kind of falling down into the abyss. You don't know what's down there.
No, it's a lot of fog.
But again, he hears them telling him to drop down. So you have to think it can't be that bad. Like maybe there's a big mat down there or something. I don't know, but he hears
like
them.
A big gymnast that are just going to bounce back up or something.
That's right.
It's just a giant trampoline, Michael. Come on.
Come on. This was the whole point for us to just jump around together.
Could you imagine?
Eat a lot of Chinese food, drink blood, and then jump around.
On the trampoline underneath the train tracks. You know, this town's so crazy.
But he does fall, and he falls into bed. It's the next day. We see him sort of fall into his bed. It's a nice little transition. And I say it's the next day. It's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I think.
Right. And he's been sleeping in, you know, and he's got sunglasses on, right, when he wakes up. Or does he just be bothered by the light? No, he has shades.
He has to put them on. He has to get Sam to give him the sunglasses, because Sam's like, you need sunglasses to answer the phone?
I like when Sam asks him, are you freebasing? What are you doing?
He jumps right to freebasing.
I slept in. Were you freebasing? Like, he's a teenager. Teenagers known for, like, sleeping, you know. I mean, I guess this is unusually late for Michael, but
I guess, but still,
I don't know that I'd accuse him of freebasing.
It's the summer. They just moved there. It's not like he has a job to go to or anything.
He was apparently out all night partying with some vampires.
Right, yeah.
But, so this is another time when we realize how young Sam must be, because Mom's got a hot date, right? Mom has a date with Max, the video store guy. And she needs Michael to babysit, right?
Yeah. Were you allowed to stay home alone when you were 17?
When I was 8, no. But when I was, that's why. Are we 8? Are we 10? How old are we? But this is our setup then for Mom has a date, so she's not in the house. This is when Grandpa has his grumpy old man moment, and he goes on his date with the beaver lady with his cleaned out ears, and this is when, for a moment there, we think that Michael's new friends are here. The bikes, the noise, the lights start up,
surrounding the house. The windows are shaking. Headlights are everywhere. But then when they open the door, nothing.
And Sam is a little freaked out, but you know what? Go take your bath.
It's
time to take your tubby now, right?
Yep.
Meanwhile, Michael is suffering from some stomach pains, and he's going to drink some milk.
He just wants some carnation milk. That's all he wants. He's so thirsty, but his tummy hurts, and he can't do it.
And he is. He looks like he's having some sharp chest pains or stomach pains. He's vamping out.
And it makes me wonder, like, he must be hungry or thirsty for blood, but his first inclination is like, I guess I'm just really thirsty. Like, milk is a good idea.
No, milk.
And then his body, I guess, once he grabs the carton, just rejects it. It's like, I'm not drinking that. I see what you're trying to do.
This is the opposite of the blood liquid I was looking for. Because then he drops the milk, he drops it on the floor, he makes a mess, and we know that he's kind of starting to change, right? He kind of stumbles up the stairs. I think his eyes start maybe kind of freaking out a little bit.
I feel like he's all sweaty or something.
Yeah, In the meantime, Sam's having a grand old time in the tubby, singing with the bubbles and rocking out.
Bath time is his favorite time.
I mean, it's the best.
He loves it. Different hairstyles with the bubbles and soap.
Doing mohawks.
He bathes with his dog. The dog just lays next to the tub, which is very
he's such a good dog. Yeah, very sweet pup. Just laying there hanging out with him, little Nanook.
But it's a good thing.
Yes, indeed.
Because Michael is there to eat his brother, I guess.
I guess.
And the dog, Sam goes underwater, so he doesn't see any of this. And Michael bursts through the door,
blah, blah, blah.
And Nanook freaks out and lunges at Michael.
Yeah. And kind of pushes him down the stairs.
Yeah, and I was really afraid. I thought that he had killed Nanook. I really did. I was like,
because you don't know. Yeah, that's right, because that's when Sam comes out from under the first thing he thinks is, where's Nanook? Yeah, and he's like, Nanook. And then he starts running, and I think he runs in a robe, right? Obviously, yeah. He runs
he's got
downstairs.
A big flashy robe. It has big yellow and blue stripes all over it. Yeah.
Now, instantly, he realized. Well, not instantly. I guess there are some giveaways. Like, does he see?
Well, there's a giveaway in that his brother doesn't have a reflection.
Oh yeah, the brother doesn't have the reflection. So, and he does this. He says to him, "Are you a goddamn shit-sucking vampire?" Right?
But it's adorable. He's like, "Wait till Mom finds out about this."
Yeah. And so Sam now is hip to the fact that his brother
Right.
is becoming a vampire, and so he instantly calls his friends, the Frog Brothers,
new
over at
BFFs, the
comic
Frog
book store.
Brothers. Yep.
Right. And he needs to know, what do I do? My brother's a vampire. And their immediate advice is to give him a stake through the heart.
Like, you gotta kill him.
That's what you got to do. You got to kill him.
Wow.
He's like, I can't. He's my brother. So they're not of no real help at first, right?
No,
but
no,
they're going to be great consultants come down the line. In the meantime, Michael he's falling more into these vampire ways. He starts floating. Isn't this when he just...
This is when he falls asleep and he just floats up to the ceiling. His face presses against the ceiling and he wakes up.
And then he's outside, right?
and
He's
he
floating
can't
outside the
control
window.
him.
No.
Floats right out the window.
And he's like holding onto the tree.
Right.
And
Why he opens the window, I don't know, because he just then floats out of it.
I feel like the window like blows open for him as he's like floating
Probably.
into nothing, and he's trying to hold on. I think he's trying to convince Sam, "Help me, I'm your brother." You have to,
Right.
like, I can't stop floating.
Yeah, and Sam in the meantime is called their mom,
Right.
and she's on her date, but she leaves her date because he's like,
Well, I
he's
would
gonna
too.
kill me.
Yeah, he's screaming
he's
into the
right
phone.
outside my window.
Yeah.
He's gonna murder me. And so she ditches out on her
She
date
hustles
with Max.
home. Yes, and she hustles home as any mother would. You get a call
Right.
from your 8-year-old tubby time son, and he's
Yeah.
crying about he's getting me. He's going to get me out the window.
Right.
She rushes home, and I love it because he does. In the meantime, he does help Michael out from the floating window and whatever. And Michael's like, you cannot tell mom about
Right.
this. And
Yeah.
again, Sam with the great line is like, I don't know, it's not like getting a D in school or something. It's like, you're a vampire. Like, this is a little more serious.
Yeah. But it is such a bummer because Diane Wiest shows up, and then they're like, "Oh, I was just reading a scary comic,
Yeah.
and it just scared me." And she is like, "Oh,
She's kind of
those
pissed.
boys of mine." It's
Yeah.
not even that she's pissed because in the next scene he's like, "Can I sleep in your room? Because I'm still really scared." What? Why?
right.
And she's
Oh, that's
totally
when he has
down
the
with
garlic necklace. He has the garlic around his neck.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, were you eating pizza? Because you stink like garlic." And he has a bulky robot still, and just big cloves of garlic underneath it. Oh.
Oh, but now, so he goes to bed with his mommy, and Michael goes back to the cave to find Star. Right? Is this when he kind of?
I guess. I don't know why he's back there. I just assume he's back there to find out what the hell is going on. So I think he's back there to talk to anyone who's there. It just happens to be Star.
Right.
And they get down to a little sexy time because
Little vampire
she has
love.
no answers for him. So
Right.
what else are you
So
gonna
let's
do?
just. And again, the same song, the song that's throughout the whole movie. I'll sing it again. Thou shalt not. They make love to that song.
It's
I
like
believe, right?
yeah, that happens if people die,
Right.
if there's sex, if there's what else does it play?
It plays in the beginning montage too, I think, when they're driving in.
Oh, when you see freaks. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm. It's really throughout.
They got their money's worth out of that public domain
they
song that they found. They're like, I don't know, this is free. It sounds creepy.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
use it for everything.
No, I think it might have been just written for the movie, right?
We paid in excess so much money. We have nothing else.
We have nothing
Let's just
left.
get a choir from school to come in and record this.
Oh, in the meantime, too, we see the hand, Michael's hand of the dog bite is magically cured. Like, something's up with Michael, right? And so Michael, yes, he's had everyone's got, well, not everyone. Grandpa got laid, Michael got laid, and now we're back at the house.
I do
Mom's
like it
having
because
tea.
Michael does come home, and so does Grandpa at the same time. And Grandpa's like,
Yeah, yeah,
looks
yeah.
like I wasn't the only one that got lucky. I'm like, whoa, you what? How do you know
We're
that?
such a forward grandpa. Well, I guess you could tell because he's always wearing the sunglasses. I guess when you're vamping out, you kind of half look like you're always hungover, or you just always came back from a really good time. Really, you're becoming a vampire. Times are tough.
Yeah, he really.
And
just
that's what he
looks like
tries
he's
to tell.
hungover all the time.
Well, and he's trying to explain to his mom, who's trying to have some kind of heart-to-heart, I guess, with her son.
When she
right?
says, "Aren't we friends? Are we still friends?
"Yeah,
We're friends, aren't we?" We're friends. Take off your sunglasses. Are we friends? Let's sit down.
Can we
Let's talk like friends. End of
talk like
scene.
friends.
He walks away. That's it. Done.
No, doesn't he yell at her about, like, you don't understand all the things on my, like,
Well,
I got
yeah.
a lot of stuff
It's
going
like,
on.
it's not just girls in school. And I'm like,
Right.
wait, you're not in school.
It's vamping out, too.
Vamping out. More than that. And your weird hippie mom would understand. I think she'd totally understand.
The vampire thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she
I
would.
think she would. She'd be
She'd
so
be like,
great
oh,
with it.
in my day, there were...
She'd be like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll get you all the blood you need. I'll find a way.
Well, she does at the end when she's offered to the... Well, let's get there.
Well,
We're not there.
Yeah, and I do have to say, at that point, one of her sons is a vampire already. So I guess from her point of view, she's like, listen, half my family's there.
Right. And the other one she's going to have to take care of for life anyway because he's...
Right. Yeah. Once she decides to drink blood, he'll be like, okay, mommy, I guess I'll just do the same thing. That's my Corey Haim impression.
Voices. Your voices are... They're a dime a dozen? No, that's not what I meant.
Yep,
That's not
that
the right
means
phrase.
they're really shitty because there's a ton of them.
It's the wrong phrase.
That is the best description, though. All right, so let's move on to the next day when Diane Wiest goes back to Max's house.
Oh, that's right.
To apologize.
With a bottle of wine, not blood, real wine. I think she has.
Yes, and
but she almost gets attacked by his dog Thor.
the dogs are
Thor.
crazy in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Thorn.
Thorn. You're right. Thorn. Well, they're the hounds of hell. Yes, indeed.
Well, we find that out later that apparently apparently vampires sleep during the day, in case people didn't know that. No, but while vampires are sleeping, they make a big deal about how they have these hounds from hell that protect them.
Right.
But the Lost Boys don't have any of those. They just live in an underground cave. So I guess they don't need dogs.
Well, they have Laddie, so...
Okay. All right. Yeah. He looks like a hound from hell. When that kid turns into a vampire.
Exactly.
He's
That's why they're like, when this kid vamps out, he's going to protect the shit out of us because he's going to be the scariest looking.
He is the scariest looking.
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland looks kind of freaky.
Like Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It's like they were just like, oh, Kiefer, can you just like mush your face together? Like, we don't need any makeup for you, dude.
We're just gonna put like a little bit of like purple like highlighter on your forehead so it looks like maybe you've gone through some sort of transition. But otherwise, your face is perfect for the vampire look. We love it.
I love the idea that they just took a purple highlighter and just drew
swiped his forehead. Yeah.
They were like, here's some contacts. Just, I don't know. Oh, look,
I don't
you already
know.
have the teeth. Okay, just look like
what I
Kiefer
mean.
Sutherland.
You already have the creepy stare. Yeah. You just be you, Keith. Oh, so this is now, Sam goes back to the Frog Brothers, the experts.
We haven't
right?
seen them in a while. Yeah.
We need their info. They know what needs to be done next, and what needs to happen is they must kill the head vampire.
Right. If you
We
kill
don't know
the
which one that
head
is.
vampire,
Right.
everyone who isn't a total vampire changes
unvampire.
back into people.
Right. Right.
And Michael is not a total vampire because
Not yet.
he hasn't drank human blood yet.
Right.
Right? I got that right. Okay.
No, you are correct.
Yeah. And at this point, the Frog Brothers and Sam come to the conclusion that the head vampire must be his mom's date, Max.
Well, because Sam says all this nonsense started happening after Mom met the video store guy.
Right.
Right?
Which is
not after
which is
my brother
incorrect.
started stalking that hippie star girl.
Right. Or
That-
just right after we moved here, which
Right,
could
right,
be
right.
anything.
Right, which could have been the Myriad. We were right after we were at the boardwalk.
This
I
all
don't know.
started happening when we moved in with our insane grandfather.
Right,
That
right. Maybe
is-
he's the head vampire.
Right.
He's killing animals and stuffing them. Mm-hmm. We don't know.
The only time I saw him in the daylight, he was playing dead. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I guess when in Santa Clara
Mm-hmm.
or Santa Carla. So they do decide that Max is the head vampire, or they think that he is. So they're going to kind of test him.
They're going to test him.
Some plans for him, and it's perfect timing because he's coming over for dinner.
Perfect timing.
Mom's going to make him Lucy's going to kind of make him a nice dinner. And the boys, of course, are going to be there.
A
when
fancy
he arrives,
dinner of
it's
spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti meatballs,
Love
a
it.
little bit of
It's very
garlic
homey.
bread.
It's very...
Yeah, very cozy. It's very, what are you going to make? It's dinner. And I guess it goes well with wine or blood. I don't know.
That's what he should have done. Just like given everyone blood without them knowing. Then suddenly they're all vampires.
Spaghetti dinner goes so great with my blood.
Right. Yeah, he'd be like,
and then
oh,
there
look,
he's
I
got
just
all
brought
of them.
this wine.
Boom, boom, boom.
Diane Wiest, your kid can drink some wine. It doesn't matter. And she'd just go, oh, okay, that's okay. And there, done. They're all vampires.
I think you're
the
right.
end.
It's always like when she smiles, like sunshine is pouring out of her face.
Oh my God, yeah. She's just so
Why
pleasant.
would you do
like
that? I know exactly. She's so Anyway, she gets a little grumpy though when the boys do what they do to her date. Now, I do think we need to kind of note that when Max arrives, he knocks on the door, and although Michael doesn't stay for dinner, Michael answers the door
and invites him in. Yes.
Yes. Now Max kind of prompts him, right? He says, "Are you gonna invite me in?
You're the man of the house.
Yes.
You're gonna have to invite me in."
To which Michael reluctantly does.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, you're invited in. It's not even
Right.
reluctant. It's like, dude, I'm in a fucking hurry. I'm a
exactly.
vampire.
I gotta go
I
find
got stuff
Star.
to do.
Yeah. Right. I gotta go try to not get blood. I don't know. So Max comes
Try
in
and not get blood.
because he doesn't. He's kind of against it. Now, what are the things they do? Try a couple of things on Max to try to get him to kind of out himself.
Yeah,
as a vampire.
they tell him they're gonna give him Parmesan cheese, but he's just heaping
It's like crushed up
spoonfuls
garlic, yeah.
of garlic. Which he loves garlic, but not that much.
That's intense.
They turn off the lights. They say that he's not glowing, which is weird.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Vampires glow? I don't know.
They put a mirror in front of his face. They spill holy water on him and ask him if it burns, and he's like, "No, it's really cold."
That's right.
And none of these things, all of these things, prove that they were wrong.
Fail.
That this nice man is
just wants to date mom.
Yeah. That's it. You know.
No ulterior vampire motives.
Right. They now decide that the head vampire must be one of the dudes in the cave.
Right. And I was assuming, as I'm sure everyone else was, David.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's telling the other guys what to do. He's the only one that has dialogue.
He's the only one that has
vampire,
exactly any
right?
kind of a voice. Right. Now, back to this group of vampire maniacs, I guess you could say. When Michael wants to go find Star, and he goes to the boardwalk, and then he goes to this is the bonfire scene. Right?
Yeah. This is where we finally see some vampiring going on.
Yeah, some eating of some flesh and some look like scalping of some surfer Nazis, right?
Yeah, because they do come upon the rest of the surf Nazi group listening to Aerosmith and Run DMC's "Walk This Way."
Walk this way
around a big bonfire.
That's a fun bonfire song, I know. Yeah,
and they bring Michael along, and they just go crazy and kill all these dudes. And Michael wants none of it. Although
he can't handle it.
Does
He's kind of
vamp up. Though.
Yeah. When they all change, he changes, but he's kind of sickened when he watches them, because he's still half not vampire. So it still disturbs him greatly what he sees them do. And this is the first time as an audience we get to really see any of this, like you said, this action, this vampire action. Everything else was just alluded to.
Right.
Like they're floating somewhere and troubles abound. But we don't know for sure.
No. So, and I love it how Kiefer Sutherland and his buddies are like, "Man, we thought you were cool, but you're not." And then I guess they just leave him because Michael goes home.
Because he kind of pussed out, like he's not doing what they need him to do, and he's struggling with it as well because he needs this blood to keep on going, but it's a dilemma.
Oh.
And now now he's back home, right? How does he get back home? I guess he just goes.
He just goes
home,
back
right?
home. Yeah, when
Right.
we need characters to be places in this movie, they're just
They're
suddenly
there.
there.
They're just where they need to be. And of course, Sam is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is when Star does that floating thing, right? She floats up to Michael.
She's
and we're like,
downstairs,
yeah.
yelling up at the window. And
Right.
this is when Sam goes, "Is she a vampire?" And turns around, she's right there. Which I thought
and
was
he's like,
great.
"She is!" Yeah. Well, and this is great too because he has Sam gets scared. He's on the bed, and Star and Michael are having kind of conversations, and the whole time Sam's got the commentary kind of tracked about their conversations.
Yeah, he's got like the covers pulled up over his head, and he'll just pull them down real quick to yell something, and then pull them back up.
yes. And this is when Star explains how you were supposed to be my first kill, and I can't do this, and da da da. And this is also when Sam brags on his connections that he has because he knows the Frog Brothers, and he knows that they can together they can fight this.
They all kind of. This is when I guess they all kind of decide. We're going to take care of these vampires. We're going to kill them.
Right.
Star, Michael, and I guess the little boy. I don't even know if they talk about him now. They're not full vampires, so then they will become human again. Great plan. Great idea. And the next day, they steal Grandpa's old car that he never takes out of the garage, and they drive to the cave to kill these vampires.
Because they're sleeping in the day, so they'll be easy prey, right?
Easy prey. And they decide the best thing to do is that the oldest, strongest, most vampire-y person of the group should be in charge of evacuating people instead of attacking the vampires.
Yeah, because he's carrying. That's right. Michael is carrying out Laddie and
Star.
And carrying them. Now you said, and it's probably right too because of the sunlight and it's daytime and the vampires can't stand that. I also think they're getting tired and weak because they haven't had blood.
But
it
is
they're
great
in bad shape.
how their plan is to evacuate these vampires into full sun.
Yeah, in a convertible, right? Isn't it a convertible car too? Like at least put the top up.
They take the top down and just put them in the back seat. Just put them in the trunk. They're not going to suffocate. They're vampires.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
They weren't thinking. But the kids, the Frog Brothers and Sam, dig down further into the cave and find Kiefer Sutherland and his cohorts hanging
like
upside
bats.
down like bats. Because
Not
whole
in
time,
coffins.
the whole time they're looking for coffins.
Oh, right.
And then when they find them hanging upside down, Corey Feldman's just like, this whole cave is their coffin. I'm like, okay, you just justified not knowing anything by just making up nonsense, but all right.
Well, they kind of have to. They're the Frog Brothers.
Yeah. Well, they're getting their information from comic books. So really.
Right. So this is when they have their first vampire kill.
Right. This is when they kill
This is
Bill
what we were
of
talking
Bill
about,
and Ted.
Yep. And did they shoot him or they stab him or
They stab him with a
I
stake.
do remember that's right.
Yeah.
And then he splatters everything. It's like iced tea, gasoline, blood splatters everywhere. And the rest of the vampires wake up and they're startled and they make weird screechy vampire noises, right?
But they can't get them because they have escaped into the light by that point.
Right. And I think at one point too, Kiefer Sutherland burns his hand or something.
His hand just burst into flames when it hits the light.
Right.
So
know
they're full on vampires. The other people can ride top down in a convertible
and just be sleepy, right?
In the middle of the summer in California.
Right.
And they're totally fine. And this is when they prepare because they know the other vampires are coming for them.
They're going to come this way.
So in Home Alone style montages, they get this place ready to fight vampires.
Right.
And the whole time, again, Michael hangs out with Jamie Gertz and Baby Vampire up in the bedroom while these
They're just napping.
Kids have to do all of this work. But they're filling, like you said, or they go into like a church. And
they go into the church and they steal the holy water. They're all sneaky about it too, like a baby's getting baptized up front or something. Like there's a ceremony being performed, and they're like at the little stealing the water. People turning around looking at them.
It's pretty
funny.
great.
Yeah, they fill up a bunch of water guns with holy water, which is pretty smart if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
They run a bathtub filled with garlic, like a ton of garlic. Right?
Yeah, it's a
Grandpa must have a garlic
full
garden.
of holy water.
Holy water, and then garlic cloves all over it. The house is prepared, and they're hiding out inside the house until that damn dog, Nanook, is outside, right?
Yeah.
Stuck on something, right? And this is
Like
pretty
a
funny
gate
because
or whatever.
they run out to go, or Sam runs out to get Nanook because, you know, I mean, this is his, you know, bath time buddy. And when they do, they're all at the doorway. Then Michael runs after him too. And then the rest of the gang, Jamie Gertz, Laddie, and the Frog Brothers are all screaming at the door. They're coming, come back in. They're on their way. And because they really are.
It is the
Vampires
most
are about to
tense
come.
scene where nothing happens at the end.
Yeah.
Literally, they go out, they get stuck,
get it back
they fall
inside,
down a
yeah.
couple times,
Right.
and then they all just go back in the house.
Yep. And it's fine. Right. Exactly.
But the vampires do bust in, like they blow out through the chimney or something.
Yeah. They
And
come
then-
in through the...
And the Frog Brothers use this confusion to go upstairs in order to murder Jamie Gertz. That they literally say, let's go kill
that's
that
right,
girl
that's right.
and that little boy.
Yeah.
But when they get up there, one of the
I think
vampires
they just
is
want an
waiting.
easy kill. I
Right.
think they just kind of want an easy kill, and they figure the kid and the girl aren't
they're all
going to do anything.
weakened. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a good kind of trial run. This is how we kill a vampire.
But this is
but then
where,
you're right.
Yeah, one vampire shows up. He's upstairs waiting for them. He's the one that they refer to. They say he looks like Twisted Sister.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And Nanook pushes him into the holy water bathtub, I guess. And you're right, as he implodes in that he dies, and then every faucet in the house starts shooting goopy blood everywhere.
Yeah, and the like sink breaks, the toilet explodes. It's like the pipes are busted. Grandpa's got a big fix on his hands after these vampires get done with the place.
I assume his house burns down after that.
Yeah, it is
vampire
totaled
explodes.
after that. I hope he has good homeowners insurance. I don't know, but yeah. So it's a big hot mess. It's a
Right.
pretty good. The vampire deaths
Oh, they're
are
good.
pretty good.
They're
right?
good.
I
yeah,
think so. Yeah.
they're good because we don't see any other. I mean, other than the guys at the campfire, we don't really see a whole lot of gratuitous violence or anything like that in this. So they put all their money into like the special effects and the makeup. Because downstairs, Corey Haim shoots the dark-haired vampire with an arrow.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This is when he dies.
This is when he flies back across the room. He flies across the room into a stereo. In excess, kicks on. Sparks are flying everywhere.
Everywhere.
And he blows up. His arm flies off.
His head it blows up, I think, right?
Yeah.
Death by stereo.
Death by stereo. And then it is Michael versus David.
The epic battle.
Epic
right?
battle. Two cool vampires fighting each other.
Floating in the sky, right? Don't they rise up and
Yeah.
float and fight each other?
Some good like wire fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. And David does die. Michael does
Michael
kill him.
impales him on some antlers, like
Yes.
antelope or something, in the grandfather's Texas Chainsaw Massacre room.
Right.
And then an angelic light shows on Kiefer Sutherland's dead vampire face.
Beautiful. Because he's changed. All of a sudden, for a minute, we get a glimpse of, oh, he was once a human. But you're still creepy and Kiefer.
Yeah,
So
I'm like,
know.
I don't feel
Or
bad for this
Kiefer.
dude. You're really supposed to, I swear you're supposed to feel bad for him. But I don't. I don't know anything about his
No,
character.
he freaked me out. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to. I was glad. I thought that we finally saw the end of this vampire phasing.
That
and
was
no,
it. He
no.
is the head vampire, right? Jamie
No.
Gertz, who, again, come on, give me some Jamie Gertz vampire. Like,
I
we
know,
get the little
don't you
boy.
want-
Oh, meanwhile, upstairs, the little boy flips out, busts through the bed.
Oh yeah.
It's like a confetti bed. It explodes everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." and the Frog Brothers want to kill him, but Jamie Gertz is like, no, he's just
a
scared.
boy. Yeah,
Right.
he's just a scared little laddie. Don't kill him.
But after Kiefer dies,
nobody's changed.
Nobody's changed. Michael is still literally, he looks like a vampire, and Jamie Gertz says, like, I don't feel any different.
Yeah, this kind of feels the same still. I don't know. And Laddie, who knows what he's doing?
I don't know. Like growling in a corner.
Well, so we know that we haven't found the head vampire.
I haven't found the head vampire.
Because we're all
I still think it's
vampire.
Grandpa, but...
But no! Nay. Because now Grandpire could have been.
Oh my God, that's such a great name for a movie. Oh man, Grandpire. Max shows up.
And he's a vampire.
Like, I'm the head vampire.
Yeah, it's me. And I look ridiculous.
I
as
look
a vampire.
super silly as a vampire. Everybody else looks great. I just found these used prosthetics and just put them on myself. The makeup team wasn't there that day.
They were like, man, he's got glasses. We'll just work around that.
They're like, I don't know, what's he on screen for? A minute and a half? Who cares? Does it even matter?
Right. But he comes, he reveals himself as the head vampire. He tries to, well, he doesn't try to. He takes Sam in kind of like a headlock, right? Mm-hmm. And sort of threatens, makes threats, and kind of tells...
Diane Wiest, if you don't become a vampire, I'll kill your kid. Well, okay, I guess I'm all right with that.
Yes, she doesn't even consider it. They're like, no, Mom, don't even... Sam's screaming no, and Michael's there going like, no, and she's like, okay.
All right, I don't really have anything else going on right now. I guess,
yeah, exactly. I'm fresh from the divorce, why not? So she kind of takes his hand like she's gonna, and that's when Grandpa comes home.
Yep. Drives his car through the wall of his own house.
He doesn't care. It's already got to replace the pipes. Might as well do a whole
like
revamp,
if you will. Earlier we see him repairing a fence. So I guess he just has a big fence post that is sharpened at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. And that's what he...
Right. It basically flies off of his car.
I think he had it attached to his car, so like a grenade or not a grenade, like a cannon or something.
Yeah, I don't know how it flies out, but it hits the vampire. Again, he flies across the room and explodes into a huge ball of fire in this dude's house.
Yeah.
It doesn't really faze him, though. Because if there's one thing he doesn't like about this town, it's those damn vampires.
All the damn vampires.
Which means...
That's a wrap.
The grandfather knew that vampires existed the whole time and never told anyone.
He wanted them to figure out it himself. It's a life lesson.
I guess, but you could at least tell Diane Wiest, like,
watch the boys careful because there's vampires in town. Yeah.
Like, there's some bad dudes around here. I don't know.
He was a carefree grandpa, you know?
Yeah, he was kind of crazy. All right. Yeah. And that is the end. That's the end of Lost Boys. Everybody's happy. You assume that Jamie Gertz and Michael, whatever, they have found each other. The little boy probably runs home to his parents at the end.
Yeah, he's got a family, right?
Frog Brothers, big heroes. Big heroes.
Yeah.
I assume
and this is for them. This is like dreams come true. They've killed... several vampires.
I'd like to think that they turn this into a comic book at some point.
Yeah.
They become comic book artists.
Perhaps.
And Corey Haim takes a bath.
Future. And Corey Haim is like, I feel tubby time coming on.
I got all this icky vampire stuff all over me. I gotta go take a tubby.
Mom, will you tuck me in tonight?
Mom, I want to go take a tubby with my puppy.
Don't read me one of those scary comics.
I don't like horror comics. All right, so, Jamie, would you recommend this movie? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes, I did. I have to say, now I knew that I had seen it before, but there were definitely parts of it, because I haven't seen it in a while, that I didn't remember. But it's an enjoyable, like I said, it's watchable. Yeah. More than that, I'd say it's enjoyable.
Well,
it is
we've watched some movies that were unwatchable on this podcast.
This is true, exactly.
So
that's saying a lot.
That's a legitimate endorsement.
Yeah. Watchable? Yes. All right. That's all. Check that box. How about yourself? Would you recommend this?
Yeah, I would. It's
a good one.
It's fun. It's just fun, and I remembered it being more violent and more scary than it actually was now.
Well, as a kid, I think, and especially when
Right.
you don't know, like you said, watching it for the first time and not knowing for sure what this was and what
Right.
vampires do. And don't forget, since this movie is made, and maybe before too, but we've really been inundated with lots of vampire, I do really enjoy Diane Wiest. I just think she's a great mom character, a great, actress. And one movie that is, I think it's an 80s movie, it might be 90s, is the movie Parenthood.
Yeah,
with Steve Martin
I don't know.
And her and
Keanu
Rick
Reeves.
Moranis is in it. Keanu Reeves, a young Joaquin Phoenix when he was just Lee Phoenix.
I feel like that's a movie that I have to watch again.
Now I haven't seen it since probably when it early on came out, and I used to watch it on cable, but I remember liking it a lot.
See, I was going to say,
like,
I remember watching it as a kid. I think I saw it in the theater, and I did not get it. It was so over my head, and I did not enjoy the experience at all.
Yeah. I think it was called Parenthood. I'm sure as a kid, I don't know why I liked it so much as a kid. I think at the time I was ahead of my time, and I had a crush on Lee Phoenix when he was Leaf before he was Joaquin, and that's one of the reasons I really liked that movie. That, and I thought Diane Wiest as a mom was just kind of a.
Well, you're all over Diane Wiest here. Wow.
Well, she was part of my recommendation,
I didn't know
so that's
you
why.
were such a big fan. I think that's great.
Thank you. What are yours? Where do you go?
My only recommendation is the movie by George Romero from 1978 called Martin, where a guy who thinks he's a vampire, he clearly drinks human blood, but you're never really sure if he's killing these people or if he is a vampire, goes to live with his uncle who's like a vampire hunter. And the movie's good. It's slow. It's deliberate. But the end scene is insanely shocking and violent in a way that you don't expect at all.
Oh, okay.
And it's a good movie. And I remember just being so surprised
at your
by
enjoyment
the
of it?
ending.
Okay.
As to how upsetting it was in a movie that was just kind of like weird 70s, like shag carpeting, like terrible outfit fun. And then at the end, I was like, no, that didn't just happen. That's
not
so
where
terrible.
I thought we were going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good. It's a good vampire movie that I don't think a lot of people have seen. So
awesome. Okay.
So Jamie, in 2 weeks, this team up, this Corey on Corey action continues.
What a thrill.
Like I said, a year later, they have their driver's licenses, or one of them does, or doesn't. I don't know. I saw this movie a lot when I was a kid. We're going to watch License to Drive. Tune in then. Remember, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and leave us a star rating and review in iTunes. That helps us get listed higher and more exposure. So if you like this and you want other people to listen to us, leave us a review. Come on.
Yeah.
And
Come on. Michael, drink it. Michael. Especially if your name is Michael.
Star rating. If your name is Michael, you should at least write us some sort of review.
Yeah.
We'll chant your name at the start next podcast.
I promise.
All right, everybody. That's it. We'll talk to you then.
Mary, you're on my mind. Folks are gone and the place will be mine. Oh, Mary, wanna be with you. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a call to you. 'Cause I feel good tonight. And everything's gonna be right, yeah. I'm gonna have a good time tonight. Rock and roll music gonna play all night. Come on, baby, you won't take
shit-sucking vampire.